Welcome to season 4, episode 6 of the Me and ADHD podcast. In today's episode, we'll be talking about postpartum ADHD, or more correctly, do your hormones mess with your ADHD after you have given birth? And for this conversation, I have with me today someone with some real world experience, because I don't, a returning guest and new mother, psychotherapist Kate Hough. Welcome, Kate.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thanks.
So, motherhood is obviously treating you very well.
It has been treating me very well, thank you. Yes,
Good.
she is. She's the best.
Fantastic. I mean, it's such an experience, and we talked a little bit a second ago about it all, but I'm stoked for you, and your babies are amazing.
The babies are amazing. I think I said before, as I was saying to you a minute ago, before I had a baby, I wasn't the kind of person that was like, oh my God, babies. Like, I love babies. But now I've had my own baby, suddenly I'm obsessed.
They do change they change your world, and they also change your view of the world and everything as well. Amazing
really
little
do.
things. Can't buy them in Tesco's though.
No, they are really hard work to cook. I'm not going to lie.
Right. Okay. So today we are talking about the postpartum kind of period after giving birth, and the hormone levels, because we know that the hormone levels go all over the place. But during the third trimester, I mean, the estrogen levels are high, and I've read this obviously. Don't know it myself, but
research.
Got to do a bit of research for this. So estrogen levels are high, which can help with stabilizing moods and focus and things like that. But for some, the weeks just running up to it, it can change for a lot of people. What I've read is not everyone, but for a lot of people. I mean, did you personally find that there was a big change in severity? And
yeah, absolutely. So the week before pre-pregnancy, the week before I was due on my period was like I would have to take a higher dose of my medication. So I was on 60 milligrams on a day-to-day basis, and then I would take 70 the week before because yes, your hormone levels when they rise. So yeah, when your hormones rise up, I found for me my ADHD traits like skyrocketed, and yeah, I got really anxious and felt less in control and less able to just sort of ground myself and cope really. Found myself getting overwhelmed quite a lot, and that was very similar. So obviously I came off my medication then when I was pregnant, and it seemed to sort of, because I wasn't having that sort of fluctuation monthly, I didn't experience that when I was pregnant, but postpartum, yeah, is wild because you have the biggest hormone drop that you will ever go through in your entire life. So that coupled with ADHD is a wild ride.
with that drop, just thinking about it. I mean, I know in kind of later on in life, through like the menopause things, drop and all that, but I know that it's over time. How quickly is the drop after giving birth?
I don't know if it's different for everybody. I know it's a universal thing that sort of it's between days sort of 3 and 6, let's say, that you will have this huge hormone drop. And it is a drop. So from my experience so I had her and I felt like I was doing well, as a new mom, and obviously it's a very vulnerable and tiring time and you've got no idea what you're doing. So I think it's overwhelming anyway. And I think some of my levels of anxiety, I'm not going to put down to the hormone drop. I'll put down to just being a new mom and, I've never really changed a nappy before. And I don't know is she feeding properly? Is she getting enough? Is she putting on enough weight and things like that? So many thoughts plus sleep deprivation go through your head in those first couple of days. But the hormone drop, I knew when it had happened because I just cried. And most moms I've spoken to I've told me similar. I just cried all day at everything. Like I've never been that like emotional, but maybe it's because of my job and I knew it was coming. I almost laughed at myself because I was like, we'd be out walking the dog with the pram, and me and my partner, and I'd literally like, I don't know, it'd be something so silly like the dog had, I don't know, like pulled over there, or the I was like, oh, is she warm enough? She's got this, she's got this, but it would reduce me to tears. Um, or like I'd take too long changing a nappy, and I'd cry about it.
Mm.
Like, or she'd cry and I'd cry. Like almost, it was almost comical how much I was crying. It didn't feel comical at times. I genuinely did feel like sad, and really anxious. But I, it was helpful for me to know that that was coming,
Yeah.
because I knew that there was going to be a day that was going to be really difficult, but I could pinpoint the day for you. I could tell you when it was in the calendar, because I felt so different, so drastically on that day than I had done the day before. And for me, to be honest, it was probably a day or two, and then I felt fine, as anyone is fine after they've just had a baby. But it went back to a very normal new mum level of anxiety, rather than like, I would describe that day as a very chronic and debilitating anxiety. If you were to live with that every day, I think it would be very debilitating.
No, I can imagine. Well, I can only imagine. Um,
Mm,
yeah, it is. And anxiety for everybody is really, really high, and it's obviously a lot higher for a mother. And then having anxiety, linked with their ADHD and all that,
mm.
that's a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, it's a very intense time. And saying it seems almost another world away now. But like, obviously, to talk about it and think about it, it really was intense.
And I can remember the day we went home. I've never driven so slow in my car before.
Yeah.
It's
Mm,
crazy.
mm,
Oh, bless. But yeah, there's so much that's going on for you guys. And there's so much
mm,
that we don't realize. I mean, as a guy, I
mm,
mean, as much as I was there, as much, a part of everything. Um, I became a stay-at-home dad after 4 months, after our son was about
mm.
4 months old, and very, very hands-on. However, I still don't understand
Mm.
what you guys go through. Um, so no, there's a lot. I mean, during the labour, I mean, a lot of people with ADHD do have some sensory issues, some
Mm,
sensory sensitivities.
mm.
Did that play up as well? I mean, did you find that any sensory issues that you may have had, were they heightened, or did you find there was more that you didn't know
It's
you had?
Yeah, it was so labour. I actively, again, sort of because I'm quite self-aware with how my ADHD affects me, especially because I hadn't been on my medication for 9 months whilst being pregnant, so I was acutely aware of the things that were bothering me,
Yeah.
in the lead up to labour. And I'd done a lot of research on labour and sort of what to expect. So I think that helped me. Obviously, it's very unpredictable, but it helped me to plan loosely. So I actually had a sort of I had my birth plan of like my preferences, that, I wanted a water birth and I didn't want to have an epidural and things like that. Um, but I also had like almost an ADHD birth plan. So, I had a plan of, it was on my medical notes as like a little side thing.
Okay.
Um, so all the midwives that were that were looking after me could read this, and it was sort of shared across everybody that my ideal was what I wanted to be in the birth center, which has really low level lighting, because the bright lights I think I would have found really overstimulating. Um, Labor ward is very loud. I thought, and all the beeping noises of the machines and things like that, I thought that would cause me a lot of stress. Um, what else did I anticipate? Obviously, what I was wearing would needed to be comfortable. Um, but yeah, for me, it was mainly sounds and light that were my real things I was really nervous about in giving birth, because a hospital's a hospital. Like, there's not really a lot I can do about it. So I planned to give birth in a place that was really, I say it was dark and there was all like fairy lights on. I was in the pool and I had my playlist on of really like my partner made me a Labour playlist that was really like calming music. And so I got the perfect birth that I wanted that was like ADHD, like, mwah, amazing. But it was on my birth plan that if things weren't to go that way and I needed intervention or I needed a C-section or, something were to have not gone right, or just a change of course, that to keep the lights as low as possible and to, this was another one, and to explain to me why the plan is changing because I don't really like change.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, if I've got my head set on something, I find it very uncomfortable to change it. So, like, please, can you educate me and explain to me why it is I can't go here, why it is I need to go to labour ward, or why it is that you're needing to do that intervention, or that you don't recommend I do this, or whatever it may be. And what they did do because of that plan, which was really nice, is I wasn't able to stay in the birth centre afterwards. I needed to be transferred to labour ward afterwards, but they got me a side room. So I wasn't sort of, because I was really, really nervous in pregnancy that I was going to end up on a ward just having a baby, potentially having a C-section. My partner has to go home, and I'm just in a bay of other ladies who've had their babies and screaming babies, bright lights, really overwhelmed. It was honestly, it would have been a living nightmare. So luckily they were able to get me a side room because I had this like mental health ADHD plan in place. So that was the best thing I could have done for myself in labour because it really, really helped.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important to take that into consideration because ADHD affects every part of your life. It's going to affect
Mm,
the birth in regards to
yes.
the things that you go through, feelings that you go
Mm,
through. So yeah, it's good to share that with the people who are going to be there to make sure that everything is as you need it to be.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, I definitely would just say don't be. So it was sort of a specific mental health midwife that put that in place for me. So I had my normal midwife and then her. But I got in touch with her via my first midwife. So
okay,
tell your midwife that you have ADHD and sensory sensitivities, and they will do their best to accommodate them.
that's good. But because emergencies are emergencies and they've got to do what they've got to do.
Yeah.
But if those things aren't cropping up, they should be able to do as whatever you feel that
Yeah.
you can cope with, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
and hopefully the labour isn't too long.
Yeah. But that's another thing that was actually just on that was really good with my midwife is because I didn't have any pain relief. So, like, nothing. And I had it on my birth plan with ADHD, as you know, like RSD, rejection sensitivity. Um, I I had it on my don't offer me pain relief. I'll ask for it if I want it. But I thought if they offered me pain relief, it might make me feel like they thought I couldn't do it. So you're like, oh, like you look like you're struggling. Do you want
Yeah,
some pain relief? And it's so silly. It's so silly, but that is how it would have made me feel.
yeah,
So I also had a note on there like don't offer it me. Like I know what's available because I've done my research. I know what I can have. I will ask you for it if I need it. And that again, I would credit to that and my stubbornness as to why I didn't end up having pain relief.
oh, fair play. Good,
Mhm.
hard as nails.
Yeah, I did really hurt my hand. I squeezed just like it's called a birthing comb, but it's literally just looks like a hair comb. I squeezed it so hard that I like cut all my hands here. Um, but she was out and it all went really well. So
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
just had a really good scream. It was very therapeutic.
I bet you did. I bet you,
Mm.
I bawled my eyes out. My glasses were just full of tears. I couldn't see properly. I just bawled
Oh,
my
bless
eyes
you.
out. And I ended up going out after that had all been sort of sorted out, I ended up going out into the hallway, and I got so overwhelmed. And I guess I don't know, anxiety or hyperventilating or something. I felt really kind of dizzy, and I ended up laying down, put my feet up and legs up against the wall and all that. And the doctor was coming over. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's right. I just had a baby." It's like I was just,
Oh,
it
bless
was
you.
great. It was, yeah, fun times.
It's really strange. I expected to bawl my eyes out because I was, but do you know what? I was just so relieved. Like I feel like I was emotional, but I wasn't sort of like tears weren't flooding down, but I could feel I was like I couldn't feel I can't connect with that. It was just such an emotional moment, but I was so relieved that she was out. Like I was like, oh my God, it's over. As I say, after 28 hours, the relief when the midwife was like, "And you, if you look down, you can now pick up your baby." I was like, "Oh my God, she's here." Um, so yeah, I think I was just too like one exhausted
Yeah,
and relieved to probably dehydrated as well to cry that much. But it was it's such a powerful moment that I feel like I could never describe it how it actually was because I feel like you almost have to feel it.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah. It is one of those things that as a guy, I'm never gonna know. As much research as I might
Yeah.
do and things, and people explain it or what, I'm never going to know, because yeah, it's you have to, well, you have to live it, you know.
Yeah, but I think it's the energy in the room now. Obviously, what you've experienced is just the pure overwhelm and emotion of like, oh my God, I'm a dad. Like, and I think it's that moment like you've known you were going to be a dad for all that time, but I think until somebody says like, here is your son or here is your daughter, I think that's a moment that I don't think you can prepare for,
Mm,
no matter how much you know it's going to happen.
yeah, very true, very true. Um, okay then. So you've given birth. Now after that, because I know you're
Mm.
off your meds while you're pregnant. Did you go back on your meds? Was it straight away, or did you have to go titration again? Or
Yeah. So so I didn't go, so I breastfed her for 3 months. So you can't have them when you're breastfeeding either. So she's 14 weeks now. She's 14 weeks this week. So I breastfed her for sort of, I'd say probably about 11, 12 weeks. And then she's just now started onto formula. So now I'm like, give me my meds back. um, and yeah, so I've had a consultation with the clinic and I've started on Elevance again.
okay,
Um, but yeah, I have to increase it back up. So I'm not yet at the sort of dose I was at pre-pregnancy. But I interestingly have really noticed it's much more impactful now. So previously, as I mentioned before, I was on 60 milligrams daily and 70 is the max. And I was on 70 when I was on my period. But to be honest with you, I could have had 70 all the time and 80 if they've let me on my period. And I used to have, so I'd have Elevance in the morning and it would wear off by about 2 o'clock. So I would then have Dex amphetamine, just a 5 milligram in the afternoon, sort of just to like boost that. It's meant to sort of prolong the impact of the Elvance. Um, so I was on really, really high doses pre-pregnancy, whereas I've started to note I don't think I'll need to go up to that now. I
okay,
feel like it's really impacting me at a lower dose more so, like, I'm noticing the impact from sort of, like, 30, 40, 50, and I don't think I'll need to go to 60 again before. But yeah, I'm just in the process at the minute of increasing it back up.
okay.
But it's a welcome relief.
Oh, bet it
I
is.
love, I wanted to breastfeed her for that long, but my God, I feel like a new woman. Um, it's just, it just makes me so much able to, like, I can cope without a medication. I lived for 26 years without medication and, um, or 27 years without medication. And I've done 9 months without my medication. Well, no, a year because say she's 3 months old. But the difference going back on it was like day and night.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I feel so much more in control. And the main thing for me was having a baby is very overstimulating. Like I love her with every bone I have, but when on a day where you've had no sleep and probably not eaten anything yet that day, and she's to anyone who doesn't have ADHD, you will think I'm nuts when I say this next sentence, but any ADHDers will understand what I mean. She was sucking my arm and sort of slobbering on me a little bit, and she just kept making this horrible, like, sucking noise with her like, she's obviously learning what to do with her mouth to, like, talk eventually, but she'd make this horrible, like, sucking noise, and she kept slobbering on my arm, and she was crying, and she kept, like I had her sat on my lap, and she kept, like she's obviously babies kick their legs out, but then she was, like, kicking me, and then what did she have on? Oh, and then my jumper that I've obviously hadn't have time, so I just threw a T-shirt on that was on the maiden, but the maiden was in the kitchen, I'd done cooking last night, so on T-shirt smelled like last night's tea, and that overstimulated me, and I was just like, "I'm gonna have a breakdown." 'Cause just, like, every sense was overstimulated. So that was when I was like, "I need to stop breastfeeding, and I need to go back on my medication," because I was having to just, like, put her down and walk away because I was in tears because I was so overstimulated. And I can laugh about it now because to say it sounds so silly, but those little things all were such a big deal to me on that day. Um, and yeah, that was when I sort of made the call and was like, "Please give me this medication back." And now when I've been like, obviously I'm still not at, like, the dose I'd like to be at, I think. Um, but even on a lower dose of Elvance now, I feel so much more able to sort of tolerate those things, and they don't drive me insane anymore, which is, really nice, and that's what I say, really relieving, because I feel like I can be a much more present mum when I'm not having to worry about the fact that, "Oh, is she gonna, like, slobber on me today, or is she gonna throw up on me?" Like,
Yeah.
it's babies do that, like, she's not doing anything wrong. I can just respond to it a lot better.
Yeah. The sensory issues that can come along with ADHD or anything when you have sensory issues for whatever
Mm,
reason can make things so much harder to deal with, and a lot of the
mm,
time they look like really minor things to anybody
yeah,
else,
yeah,
but they can really affect you.
yeah.
So yeah, so I'm glad the medication is helping with that. Do you think it's because of, again, the hormone levels at the moment, so the medication is working better because of hormone levels, or is it because of
Mm,
everything else that's going on in your head because of giving birth? Is it?
I actually don't know, to be honest with you. I th My body is obviously completely different now to how it was before I was pregnant. So, and I don't know all the science behind it, but what I've been told, because I told the clinician that, like, I was feeling an impact at a much lower dose, and she said that she wasn't surprised, um, because she was like, "Your body has just been through something huge." Like, your body isn't your body anymore. Like, your pre-pregnancy body sort of doesn't exist now. Because yeah, my hormone levels will always be different. I think I swear to God, there's a study that says like you're until like they're like 18 years old, you still have some like hormones left over from your baby in your body. I know it takes a long time for everything to sort of like I almost want to say flush out of your body. Um, so yeah, I think my hormone levels are different. My my body looks different. It feels different. It's just like this has just been my daughter's home for 9 months. So it's yeah, it's sort of especially when I was breastfeeding, didn't really feel like my body. So I think it's just different now. So I'm gonna react differently to different medications. Like I used to be allergic to MSG before I was pregnant. Not anymore.
Oh,
So cured. um yeah, so things like that. Pregnancy my body has changed so much that like I can now even eat certain foods that I couldn't eat before. So couldn't tell you why, but yeah, it's impacting me differently, but I couldn't pinpoint the actual reason other than the fact that my body is just very different now.
blimey, okay.
But I would actually say ADHD is like worse. Like I think this is the most ADHD I've ever felt in my entire life.
Okay.
Um, but the medication just seems to be like it's almost like it's targeting it better. Um, Oddly, or certain things. Like I'm waffling now, but like I definitely notice the impact of it really strongly with certain things, but I feel like it's not touching other bits. So like I still feel
Okay.
quite scatty and like overwhelmed, but I feel a lot more able to tolerate sensory sensitivities, and I feel a lot more alert and sort of like I might be scatty, but I'm in control of the scatter. It's a very strange mix at the minute.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. No. I get you. I get you. So with the sensory then side of things,
Mm.
do you find, I know the sucking on the arm and the noise of the mouth and all that. Do you find things like the crying an issue? Because obviously you're going to get a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yes. It's hard to tell what's ADHD and what's sort of like my maternal instinct. I feel like they're getting quite blurred because I can't bear to listen to her cry. Like I feel like I always say to my partner, like it causes me physical pain to hear that she's upset. But I don't know if that's just like my mum instinct of
Right.
like I can't bear to hear my baby cry. Um, the other things are definitely sent like the sucking on the arm and things like that. That's definitely like it makes me shiver to think about it. Um, but when it comes to her crying, I don't think I will almost go out on a limb and say I don't think that's ADHD. The reason that bothers me, I think it's more I would do anything to make this. I would do anything to make whatever is wrong with you better,
Yeah.
rather than I would do anything to make this noise stop.
Yeah.
Like it's not about the noise, it's about the fact that she's upset.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. That makes sense. That's okay.
Mhm.
That's okay. Um, as long as you don't like go running out of the house and leave her on her own, that's not so okay. But
Yeah, no, that's not.
um, okay, yeah, no, because a lot of people do struggle with the crying,
Mm,
just because of the noise and the length of time it goes on for, and through the night and things like that. So I guess for some people that can be a huge issue.
yeah,
If
it's yeah.
'cause-
I think with my partner, so my partner has autism, and I think he struggles more with like if it's loud. Like, he will struggle with the crying. And don't get me wrong, I do as well at that point. But I think it's more yeah, I think initially it's like, "Oh god, I can't bear the fact that you're upset about something, even if, like, I know you just want an ounce of milk and then you go to sleep." Um, but I do think that you've just mentioned then if it goes on for a length of time, I do think when it goes on for a length of time, it becomes more about the noise than it does about the fact that she's upset. Because by that point, I've figured out why she's upset. Often it's because she's tired.
yeah,
And that takes her she's a baby that unfortunately I think all babies fight sleep, but wow, she can fight sleep. So at the minute, I'm hoping it's a phase and that it'll change, but at the minute we're in a bit of a phase of she's tired and then like you'll start rocking her and I think she understands this means they're trying to get me to sleep.
Yeah.
And then she starts screaming because she's like, I don't want to sleep. And she does because she's overtired at that point. But she doesn't want to miss what's going on. So she just screams for about 10 to 20 minutes. And then she'll go to sleep for 2 hours. But at that point, we both me and my partner, I'm like, when she's been crying for that long, we just put headphones in there. Because I'm like, I know that you're tired and I know that I'm getting you to sleep and I know eventually that this will end. But yeah, that's where the noise cancelling headphones come in, which have been a real lifesaver.
It's I find it quite a weird thing, because I have sensory issues and they are, to be fair, are getting worse.
Mm.
However, the crying didn't affect me. I mean,
Mhm.
if it goes on for so long, it'll be like being in I guess, a crowded room for a long time where I'm
Mm.
okay, but I
Mm.
need to chill on my own for a while afterwards, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um, Not that I'm going to pass out because this is just so much, I can't bear it.
Yeah.
And even when I'm at work and I hear a crying baby and everyone's like looking around and I'm like, oh, it's nice. It's a lovely sound. It's nice. Um, but yeah, how certain sounds and feelings can be
Mhm.
okay, and then other ones that are very similar can be very not okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, isn't it? Like, who'd thought that I'd be more able to tolerate crying than I would literally just the noise of her, like, sucking on my arm. Like,
Yes.
why can I tolerate one that much more than that one? And maybe because she has no need to suck on my arm. Whereas when she cries, she's trying that's the only thing that she can do to tell me that she needs something. So I think that gives me a bit more like of a window of tolerance with it because I'm like, okay, you're doing this for a reason. So like I've got something it's almost like it gives me something to do. Like I've got something to figure out when she's crying. Whereas when she's just sucking my arm and slobbering all over me, I'm like, there's no need really. Is there?
Oh, bless you. I mean, I mean, obviously you got before the life beforehand, and then obviously some changes through sort of pregnancy, but now with the change of routine,
Mm.
change of noise levels, change of, I guess, structure and what you do and how you do things at home and outside. How does that affect you? Is it like a welcome change, or is this so you're still getting used to it and it's driving you nuts kind of thing?
Um, I think I've been through a lot. Like I feel like every aspect of my life has changed over the last 2 years. Other than my work, that's been the only constant. So a baby and a baby has just been it's just sort of exacerbated that even more. Like it's another change that I didn't even see coming. Um yeah, I definitely struggle with the lack of structure. Like I'm looking forward to like, at least when I go back to work, it's a bit Groundhog Day because I don't and she's so because she's so little, she's not in, like, a nap schedule or really a feeding schedule or a sleeping schedule, like, she's just whether she just does what she wants to do at the minute. So, it's very much like I wake up every morning and it's sort of like, "Okay, what's today gonna" I don't know, are you gonna nap well today or are you gonna refuse sleep all day? Are you going to have 6 feeds today or 3? Like, it's very, uh, unstructured, which I do struggle with. I'm really looking forward till she's just that a little smidge older, and I can put her in like a, "Okay, ideally, you're gonna nap between this time and this time and this time and this time," and it will be very loose and rough, but at least I'll know I'll have something to plan around. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to work in a sense of like I'm gonna miss her and I don't want to leave her. I don't want to I'm not running for the hills to go back to work, but I am looking forward to sort of being like, okay, so on this day I'm at work and on this day I'm at work and on this day I'm at work, on this day I'm off with Lyra and this day I'm off with Lyra. And it's yeah, I think that like structure is gonna be a lot better for me because yeah, it's feeling very chaotic at the minute, which is, I think, adding to my overwhelm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of change and a lot of having to just go with the flow. And I'm not a very go with the flow kind of person. I'm very much I will control the flow.
Okay.
And I don't control anything at the minute.
Get used to that. Um,
Yeah.
um, okay, so how how do you find sleep? Because I mean, I was a stay-at-home dad. I mean, my wife was here as well until 8 months in, I think it was. Anyway, but as a stay-at-home dad, I was tired anyway. Not knowing I had ADHD,
Mm.
my sleep wasn't always brilliant, and I would nap in the day. And when our son was having a nap, I would nap. Not because, that's when you do it. It's because I have a chance to nap and I need to nap. I need to nap now.
Mm.
Um, but now I'm on my medication.
Mm-hmm.
I can't nap. As
You
much
can't
as
nap. Yeah.
my body
That's it.
goes,
Yeah.
lie down and have a nap, you need to chill out.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
not happening. So
No.
how does that affect you at all? Are you really
That's
needing a nap but can't because of the meds, or?
Yeah, that's actually really, really interesting. I was the same. So when she was really little, when I wasn't on my meds and I was breastfeeding, it's only been the last couple of weeks that I've been like starting to try my meds. But when she was really little, I'd be like so tired. Um, and I wouldn't say I'd struggle to nap. I went through a bit of an anxious point where I wouldn't want to sleep when she was asleep because I just looked at her all the time. And then when I sort of got over that because I was like, I have to sleep. I Yeah, when she was asleep on me, I could usually sneak a little half an hour on some days. Um, and that would always make me feel a little bit better and a bit more able to function. But yeah, I'm exactly the same. As soon as I take my meds, even on a low dose, napping is not happening.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel better because the medication definitely does help me power through. So like if I take it first thing in the morning, I'm not bothered what time she gets me up because I know I'll get to sort of 3 o'clock. Okay. Like I'll function quite well. And then it gets to 3 o'clock and I'm like, wow, I need a nap. When is bedtime? Um, because yeah, I can't nap on my meds. Whereas I used to when she was little, just she didn't sleep through the night at all because she was a newborn. We used to like tag team. So like I'd go back to bed for it was when I started like expressing breast milk as well. Like I'd go back to bed for 2 hours and like my partner would have her and then he'd go back to bed and we'd continue like that. That was fine, but I don't function well on no sleep unless I have my meds. But as I say, when the meds wear off, it hits quite hard.
Do you have any rebound when the meds wear off?
Um, I notice it because of tiredness. So it's more like I'll start to notice that I'm not like if somebody's talking to me, like for example, today, um, like we were in the car and my partner was talking to me and I clocked myself. I yawned just because I was tired, and then I clocked myself and I was like, I didn't listen to that. Like I was like sort of had to snap myself back in the room and was like, he's talking and I haven't, I've not like I'm listening, but I haven't like really, like I don't know, I couldn't repeat what he'd said,
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, and I looked at my watch and I counted the hours and I was like, right, okay, that's how long this dose is lasting me, because I could pinpoint the minute that I knew it wasn't in my system anymore. So it's not necessarily like I don't get a bad rebound. It's just more I'm like, okay, right. I'm not like firing on all cylinders anymore.
Yeah. No, it can be like that. Um, some people have it can be a bit rough. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, that those when you get used to being able to do certain things, you know what it's like, and
and
when that stops happening, you're like,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah, it's probably not working anymore.
Um, okay, so it's been 14 weeks, you said. So you're
Yes.
kind of past now the postpartum stage, because I think it's at 6 to 8
Mm.
weeks after giving birth. So your ADHD, as you felt, has got worse in regards to how it presents.
I think I'm just more, I don't want to use the word triggered, but like I'm in environments more often that doesn't suit my
Yeah.
ADHD. I think so. I don't think sort of, I don't think I've got sort of like almost had a flare up of ADHD. I don't think ADHD has got worse. I think I believe that you have ADHD to your level and your environment is what makes it feel worse or better.
Yeah.
So I think just obviously having a baby is overwhelming and overstimulating and it's out of your control and it's a bit chaotic. So I think that I feel like my traits are worse, but actually I think I'm just in the best environment in a lot of ways because I'm love being around her and stuff. But if we're talking specifically about ADHD, then yes, she having a baby and being around her all day is the environment that doesn't really work well for my ADHD
Yeah.
without medication.
Yeah. Yeah. I always kind of try to look at it as ADHD. It's got, the science behind ADHD is this. This is what ADHD is. The neurotransmitters, the development of the brain, areas of the brain, then and what you can kind of expect in regards to the attention and hyperactivity and things like that. That's ADHD. And then you've got life with ADHD,
Yeah.
and for me, that plays a bigger role because the environment around you will dictate how you present.
Yeah.
It will either exacerbate lots of areas or some areas, or it will, chill you out in a lot of other areas.
Yeah.
So I guess now having a baby, your new base level is
Yeah.
changed now. It's just that's how
Yeah.
it's not gonna go
Absolutely.
backwards. It's good. There you go. This
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's sort of, I suppose, like I'm thinking about the more stressful parts about ADHD, say when I'm overstimulated or I'm overwhelmed or feel a bit anxious. But actually, as I was saying to you before we started, in a lot of ways, she's helped my ADHD. Like there is a nice side of it as well that she's really slowed me down and really calmed me down. So like there is never when I was pregnant, I was really worried about being nap trapped because I was thinking with ADHD that would drive me insane. I'm always on the go. My brain is going 1,000 miles an hour and my body is going with it a lot of the time. So the idea of sitting on the sofa is actually my worst nightmare. And like I could it was probably less than an hour a day I would sit on the sofa for like, in the evening. Whereas now I spend the majority of my day on the sofa nap drowned. Especially that's how I've spent maternity leave. And it's been the best. It's my favourite part of the day. And I get to do it a lot. So it's in a lot of ways, I've craved being able to just slow down and chill out a little bit um, for years. And the medication didn't help me with that. Medication wouldn't make me able to relax. It would just make me generally more like grounded. But I wouldn't say I was ever really relaxed until I had a baby, which is a weird sentence.
that's it's that does sound quite weird,
But
but
yeah, she's really helped my ADHD in a lot of ways as well because she's enabled me to slow down and just be more present with her, with or without medication. So that's actually been a really nice part that she's given me as well.
okay, that's interesting to understand and to hear that they can they can those things can babies, um,
Those things. Yeah.
they can help in a lot of ways, depending on
Mhm.
again on your presentations and things like that, and
Yeah.
but they can also hinder because it's a change of environment.
Yeah.
Did you ever find that there was a presentation because you got a lovely baby now and everything's changed? Anything new? Anything that kind of made you think, "What the hell is going on? Why am I feeling like this? Why can I do this now? Why can't I do this now? What the hell is going on?"
I think That's a really interesting question, actually. I think she's really put a lot of things into perspective for me, I'd say.
Okay.
So I am definitely more anxious now I've had a baby than I was before I had a baby. And I do think it's sort of related to ADHD because it's, I find I'm mainly anxious when I'm overstimulated or I'm overwhelmed, which is sort of I would put down to because of ADHD, as opposed to like new mum anxiety now. But it took me by surprise how I was so not bothered about anything I was anxious about before. Like that doesn't matter. All of a sudden, anything that used to bother me before doesn't matter because it's like yes, I'm not sort of like healed from anxiety yet, but equally I'm a human being. I think everyone's anxious at times. So like no one's immune from that. But it really takes me by surprise how I laugh at the things I used to be anxious about. And think, wow, I had no idea. Like I would be anxious if let's say I had an 8 a.m. client, and I knew I just had like a full day of clients and I had an early start. If it was like 10:30 and I wasn't in bed, I'd be panicked. I'd be stressing about getting enough sleep to get up and function for my next day of work. Now actually look after a little human being all day on my own a lot of the time after like 4 hours sleep. No bother. So, it's amazing. It's really put a lot of things into perspective for me. I'm not anxious about things I was anxious about before. I'm anxious about new things. Um, but a lot of it is around sort of the baby.
Yeah.
So I'm not I'm just really not bothered about a lot of things that I was before in a really positive way. Um, so that's been, I think, something that has taken me really by surprise. And I've been like, what the hell? Why? Like, how am I all of a sudden just not literally, I can't explain, not bothered in the slightest about those things, which has been very refreshing, actually.
No, that's good to hear because sometimes those little things can get in the way and they don't
Mm,
matter really,
yeah,
So
yeah.
it can really change it. Oh, the kids love it, love it, love it. Um, okay, so being ADHD, first time mum, um, hormones all over the place, sensory things going on. It's hard work, obviously. Did you ever feel the need, or even before, slightly before birth, did you ever feel the need to, reach out for support and help? I don't mean from like just from a family member, your partner, or anything, but through therapy or coaching or anything like that, some extra support because this is really bad and hard and
It's a lot.
yeah,
Yes. So obviously being a therapist, I've got a million and one tips and tricks up my sleeve to like cope. So my first port of call is obviously always like, what would I say to somebody else that is sort of feeling like this? That doesn't work a lot of the time when it's on yourself. Great at giving advice, not great at taking it. So I have actually felt, as much as I know we've spoken a lot today about postpartum and how stressful and overwhelming and overstimulating it is, I feel so much better now than I did when I was pregnant. Like postpartum, despite the fact that I'm looking after a tiny human that can't like feed themselves or do anything, it feels like a breeze compared to how I felt when I was pregnant.
yeah,
So I've not felt any kind of need to have support or therapy after I've had the baby, but I had therapy when I was pregnant. So I think I was about 16 weeks pregnant. And I just started to really it was very different. So it wasn't I wouldn't say it was ADHD. I think it was in terms of like big change and don't like change and I'm overwhelmed kind of thing. But I don't think that I don't think sort of the decline in my mental health when I was pregnant it wasn't overwhelmingly because of ADHD, I wouldn't say. I think it was just more we had fertility problems and then all of a sudden I was pregnant and didn't really prepare to be pregnant, and it was scary and overwhelming, and I was worried about all the changes and like, can I be a good mom, and am I ready to be a mom, and what about my work and all of these things. And then, as I say, so think from when I was about 16 weeks pregnant, um, I had I don't think I had therapy straight away, actually. I spoke to my midwife about it, I think, after a couple of weeks, and then I did therapy up until I was about 37 weeks pregnant. Um, I think I had about 12 sessions of therapy, so I must have started it later. I think I had about 12. No, I had about 14 sessions of therapy, which I found really helpful just to help me sort of process how overwhelming it
Yeah.
was and the changes, and talk it through like, okay, so what if that worst case scenario were to happen? What then? And things like that. So I found that really helpful. But honestly, I can't. The moment, literally, it was like the moment I gave birth, I felt better. I think a lot of it was hormones as well.
Yeah.
Now I look back and think of some of the things I was upset about, and like I'm like, wow, I was hormonal. But yeah, I think I've not felt the need for support really after I've had her, because other than like practical support, like Nana's babysitting and things like that. But mental health wise and ADHD wise, pregnancy I actually found harder than now. So yeah, it's been the opposite way that I thought it would be. But
Okay.
yeah, I feel so much better since she was actually born.
Do you think that's, or do you know if it's the same for a lot of women being sort of needing the therapy and support more during pregnancy than afterwards in that respect, mental health wise,
I
with
I think
ADHD?
I don't think it's uncommon. Like, obviously, when I spoke to my midwife, I felt almost embarrassed. I was like, "I'm a therapist myself. I understand what's happening here, but I can't fix it." Um, and I think it was, yeah, I said so many hormones going through my body, and I think it's a ADHD or no ADHD, but I do think ADHD would exacerbate it. It's a very overwhelming time being pregnant. Everything is changing, and nothing you can do about it. Um, and yeah, so I think it's common in that sense. I do think it's also would be really common to struggle after. I was really worried. My biggest concern about struggling so much with my mental health in pregnancy was that it was going to carry on after she was born, because you are statistically more likely to get sort of postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression if you have antenatal anxiety or antenatal depression. Um, so my biggest concern, I was like, I'm gonna have a newborn to look after. Like I can't just not get out of bed today because I have a baby to look after. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's uncommon to struggle in both. Um, I was just felt very fortunate that, well, I mean, I was feel very lucky in it that literally, say, the moment she was born, it's like, as much as I had loads of other hormones going on, it was just this weight was lifted. I mean, physically, yes, a weight was lifted, but like in my head, it felt like a weight was lifted, because all of a sudden, none of it mattered. All of a sudden, all of the things I was worrying about did not matter anymore, because I had this little baby in front of me that I made. And I think the sort of love and pride that I felt in that moment sort of overrode. It was like a switch went off, and it was like, you actually don't need to worry about all of these things that you've been worried about for 9 months. Um, so therapy really helped me like cope until I got to that point where all of a sudden having a baby just put it all into perspective for me.
Did you find did you wait until things started to happen before you sort of thought, okay, I think I need a bit of help, or were you kind of, I may struggle through this, I'm going to put help in place at the ready,
Eh,
so I know when it's coming, I can make that call and get it sorted.
Really wish it was the latter, but it wasn't. um, that would have been the sensible thing to do. But to be honest, it took me by surprise. Like, 'cause I was so excited. I was so excited slash overwhelmed to be pregnant, because we didn't think it was going to happen. So I I was sort of a bit like, oh my god, like this is great. I think like it just a very strange time. Um, but I think it was interesting, as I say, I felt fine in the first trimester, even though I felt physically terrible. I felt okay mentally, and it really so it kind of threw me off when I all of a sudden didn't. It was just like I can remember it. It was just one day. I all of a sudden I was like, I'm really sad, and like I'm really worrying about this baby, and like worrying about being a mom, and like I remember just one day like I feel absolutely terrible. Um, and then I was like, okay, like let me think about this. Let me sort of put some coke, like try and figure out why, and almost like gave myself therapy. Like, let's get out pen and paper and try and process some of it. What is it you're worried about? What is it that's making you feel this way? I spoke to my partner about it. I spoke to my friends about it. And nothing was really like shifting it. Like nothing was really making me feel better. Um, so I did that for like a couple of weeks, and that's when I thought, actually, I'm gonna need like outside intervention here to really sort of help me understand this a lot better and get on top of it. Um, and that was a really I don't think I also didn't wait too long. In hindsight, I'd have probably done it a couple of weeks earlier, but I didn't plan for it. I didn't plan to start to feel bad. I thought I'd feel quite like, stereotypically really excited and glowing and all of this. And actually, I just felt huge and uncomfortable and overwhelmed a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Where it was really helpful for me because I could just keep like focused and not really think about my own life. But I think, yeah, it was really helpful just to have that little bit of outside intervention to help me put things into perspective. And yeah, the moment she was born, that's the biggest reality check I think I could have ever got. Um, and all of a sudden, as I say, the things I was worrying about didn't matter or hadn't come true. Like if I was worried about labour, she was out, she was safe, she was healthy, like I was okay. Those fears hadn't played out. So the anxiety then lifted. Um so yeah, I was very as much as it was a rough ride in pregnancy, luckily for me, ADHD wise and mental health wise, things have been okay since she was born. ADHD wise, I'm getting on top of it with my medication. Mental health wise, I've been fine.
Brilliant. What can you say to those who are going through pregnancy at the moment, or just giving birth, regarding support and knowing if and when you need support? What could you
I
say?
would sort of just, I would look out for it. I don't want to sort of just say you'll know when you're not feeling yourself because you're pregnant and like everything changes every day. And especially if you're a first time mom, haven't been pregnant before, like you don't really know what to expect. But I would say to as you mentioned earlier, maybe sort of know where your support network is so that you can sort of lean on it and utilize it with ease at a moment's notice. So rather than like for me, luckily, obviously, like I'm in the industry, I know the steps to take to reach out for help when I need it. But it was hard because I'm in the industry at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think I would say to people like have the numbers available. Your first appointment with your midwife, be like, I feel okay at the moment, but in case that changes, what's the process? Like, what support is available to me if I am to need it? And have that conversation really early on because it's easier to gather that information when you feel well than it is when you're in the pits of something. It's hard. Like, I remember going in to see my midwife going, have to tell her. And I really don't want to tell her. So yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice would be get all the information right at the beginning that hopefully you will never need, but it's there for if you need it. And there's nothing wrong with needing it. Like I'm a therapist. I have been since I was 18 years old. And it's like pregnancy is so overwhelming. ADHD is overwhelming. It's really normal and okay to need a little bit of outside support because you're going through probably the biggest thing you will ever go through in your life. So like if you're training for a marathon, you might get like professional athletes get a coach.
Yeah.
Like you're training for something that's like a completely life-changing event. It's okay to have that little bit of external support when you need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Completely agree. Um, right. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on and having a chat. It's been great to
You're
catch
very
up. It's
welcome.
great to hear this next part of your journey.
Yes.
But we've done it before, so let's do it again. Where can people find you on social media and your website and all that if they wish to follow your journey or looking for an ADHD aware psychotherapist for support, like yourself?
You can find me on Instagram and on TikTok, which is at @dotswellbeing. And you can, from my Instagram and my TikTok, go on my website, which is www.dotswellbeing.com. Yeah, if you would like any kind of advice, support, therapy, coaching, ADHD wise, or other mental health wise, that's where to find me.
Fabulous. And of course, I will put those links on the podcast and the posts that go out as well, so they can obviously get in touch. Okay.
Wonderful.
Brilliant. Thank you again for being here. Guys, whoever's listening, probably just my mum, but hey, hi mum.
Shout out, Karen's mum.
As always, be good, be kind, and remember, you're not alone. Thank you.